He wore tailored suits, ate like a king, and never got his hands dirty. But behind the polished facade was a mob boss who made billions without ever touching drugs. This is the rise and blood-soaked fall of Paul Big Paulie Castellano, the businessman don of the Gambino crime family. Born into the Mafia, Paul Castellano wasn't like the other mobsters. He wasn't a killer. He was a calculator. While others shot their way up the ladder, Paul crunched numbers and built empires. He started in the meat business, literally. His company supplied half of New York's beef. But behind those stakes were mob kickbacks, money laundering, and intimidation. When his cousin Carlo Gambino, the godfather of the Gambino family, died, Castellano was chosen over made men who had earned their stripes in blood. Why? Because Carlo saw the future, and Paulie was the future. Under Paul, the Gambinos shifted gears. No more low-level drug dealing. He pushed into construction. Unions, white-collar fraud, even controlling the price of bread and concrete in NYC. He wasn't just a gangster. He was a CEO with legit businesses as fronts. Castellano became a billionaire in everything but name. He owned a mansion so opulent, locals called it the White House of Staten Island. He banned his men from selling drugs. But here's the twist. They did it anyway. And when Paul found out, he didn't just threaten them. He started acting like a dictator. Paul started recording conversations inside his mansion. He didn't trust anyone, especially his ambitious underboss, a flashy thug from Queens named John Gotti. As Paul tried to make the Mafia more corporate, his men saw weakness. Gotti wanted the old ways back. Power, fear, respect, and he wasn't alone. December 16th, 1985. Paul Castellano arrived at Sparks Steakhouse in Manhattan. He thought it was a dinner meeting. What he got was an ambush. In seconds, Castellano was gunned down in the street. A Mafia don executed like a nobody. The boss who banned drugs, who tried to clean up the Mafia, was left to bleed on the sidewalk. The hit wasn't just revenge. It was a hostile takeover. Within days, John Gotti became boss, and the Gambino family went from boardrooms back to body bags. Gotti would rule with blood and bullets, but his reign would lead to massive FBI crackdowns, because unlike Castellano, Gotti liked the spotlight. Here's the kicker. The FBI was closing in on Castellano before he was killed. They had tapes, wiretaps, and witnesses. Had he lived another week, he might have been arrested, not assassinated. Paul Castellano thought he was smarter than the streets. But in the Mafia, brains don't always beat bullets. His ambition to become a legitimate billionaire cost him everything: respect, loyalty, and his life.